All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, November 19th, 2024, and of course, we just finished with week 11 of the NFL, so what comes after 11? You know, if you can count, it's 12. It's not week 10 or not week 9, not week 17, but we're at week 12 already somehow. I can't believe. One sec. I take a drink of some lemonade. But anyway, but I can't believe we're already in week 12. The season's flying by. It's going by too quickly. It was a pretty good week. We went 11-3 last week. It was pretty solid. We missed on the Patriots game. We missed on the Browns pick. Those were kind of silly picks in retrospect. And then the 49ers was kind of the only one where it was like, sometimes you get them wrong. But anyway, before we get into it, as always, make sure you leave a like and leave your picks down below. Those are the more important things. The likes help the video out, makes it do a little bit better. And of course, the comments are the things that I like to respond to see how you're doing on your picks, to see what picks you have this week, to see how you're doing overall on the year. Those are fun things to keep track of, to see how we're doing head to head. And yeah, just generally, you know, how things are going, how you see the video, whatever you think. So be sure to leave your thoughts down below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. Leave a like and of course subscribe if you're new around here. Those things all help the YouTube out and blah 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 blah. YouTube mumbo jumbo. All right, let's get into the actual reason you're here though. As we said, we went 11-3. We've been killing it since week 6. We went 12-2, 10 wins, 11 wins, 11 wins, 10 wins, 11 wins, and that brings us to a 104-62 record. I hate the morning sometimes. My voice is always really scratchy because I haven't talked yet today. But yeah, we're 42 over the 500 mark. We're 104-62. Very good pick'em record so far. We've been doing very good since a weird start of the season. So let's just hope the good times carry on. And this is a busy bye week too. We have a whole bunch of people not playing. We've got the Falcons, Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, Saints, and Jets. 6 teams, so that means there's only 13 games, a couple more than usual. Next week, there are no bye weeks, so that's kind of, you know, and then week 14, there's some more bye weeks, and then the bye weeks are all finished. So we've basically got everybody done. We've just got a few left to get through. All right, Thursday Night Football. We got ourselves a stinker. Not really, but it's a fun AFC matchup, but it's kind of like, we know who's going to win. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cleveland Browns. Steelers are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under at 35.5. Steelers coming off a win again against the Ravens where they just kicked field goals and won the game basically off their kicker. And then and they shut down one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the NFL right now, maybe outside the Lions, however you want to debate those two offenses. And then, of course, the Browns lost 35-14 as their season continues to be miserable. I'm guessing they don't really have the team to kind of upset the upset the Steelers. Sometimes they pull this off, but it's very rare. And usually they are a little bit better of a team than they are, you know. Very bad offense. I could imagine the Steelers defense just completely shuts this down. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I mean, maybe, you know, it'll be a game. Anyway, let's go to the games that actually might have something going on. One o'clock games. There's not a lot of games this week, especially not a lot of games worth talking about. The Kansas City Chiefs take on the Carolina Panthers. Chiefs are 10.5-point favorites with an over-under of 41.5. The Chiefs actually took their first loss to the Bills, 30-21. Panthers coming off a bye. If the Chiefs had been undefeated in this game, this was such a trap game that I was going to pick the Panthers, but I think a lot of people were going to go with the Panthers in this game if Kansas City came in 10-0. However, since they just lost, we can only pray that the Panthers come out of this alive. Everybody take a moment of silence for what may happen to Carolina this weekend. God bless. Minnesota Vikings take on the Chicago Bears. Vikings are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under of 39.5. Their Mickey Mouse Linsanity run season continues. They're 8-2 off a 23-13 win versus the Titans. Don't know how they keep winning despite playing poorly every week, it seems like. And then the Chicago Bears are 4-6 off a heartbreaking loss to the Packers where they got a ball got blocked, tipped or whatever, and then it ran into it just missed going in. So yet again, the Bears suffer a heartbreaker in a game that probably was one of their best of the seasons. Caleb Williams looked great that game. I honestly believe that if the Bears can replicate that look versus the Vikings, they can upset that team. I think being at home will be super helpful. And again, I think if the Bears can play like they did against the Packers, I think they have an upset on their hands because I think, I just feel like the Packers will Like, if they can look like that again, they could beat a Vikings team that seems to just win off kind of like vibes and good luck. I'm not really sure what's going on. They're 8-2. They play bad football. Like, they beat the Jaguars 12-7. It's like, how does that even happen? Beating the Titans and the Jaguars doesn't really mean much. But again, I feel like this is an upset. One of my upset picks this weekend. I really feel good about this game. Mainly just because I just don't think the Vikings are that good. They feel like a fraudulent 8-2. But are you a fraud at 8-2? I don't think so. Anyway, we have a fun divisional matchup. You have the Tennessee Oilers, or the Houston Oilers, or the Tennessee Titans, taking on the Houston Texans. The Texans are 7.5 point favorites with an over-under of 41.5. By the way, with the lines that I include, they're always from FanDuel. And yeah, and I put them in after I make all my picks. I just like to say that to let people know what the lines are. People like to see them and kind of like what they look like. Blah, 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 blah. They don't influence my picks. But anyway, with the Bears game, one more quick thing. I also like the Bears as like at home division game. After a heartbreaking loss, you can usually kind of play pretty decent football. Again, I just think the Bears have like a situational win on their hands. And again, I think the Vikings are due for a loss because of the way they've been kind of lucky winning. So with this Titans-Texans game, I'm kind of looking at it like, well, the Titans have been playing bad football all year. They should only have one win. They got lucky versus the Patriots. Bad coaching kind of gave them a second win. I got the Texans. They should be able to steamroll kind of a bad football team. It could be kind of close because like there's like some division animosity between these two teams. There's some bitter blood between these two teams. If the Titans have any balls, they'll wear their Oilers uniforms again, but whatever. I'm going to go with the Texans. You know, they win pretty handily in this one, I think. And here's the NFL's bully team, the Detroit Lions. They take on the Indianapolis Colts. Lions are 9-1 after a 52-6 win over the Jaguars, their second 50-point game of the year. The Colts are 5-6 after they beat the Jets 28-27. I like the Lions in this game. I think offensively they'll be able to do kind of what they please against a Colts off defense that hasn't been the greatest this year. They have moments where they look all right, but again, giving up 27 to a Jets offense that's been dead in the water most of the year isn't really super inspiring when you have to play the Lions next, right? It's like, oh, okay, so we had trouble stopping the Jets offense due to I have to just check one thing and make sure we're all good. We're all good. That was a fun little treat for you, the viewer. Anyway, so we just kind of got to make sure that the like, if you're the Colts, you got to kind of be like a little bit nervous coming into this. Like, all right, how are we going to contain the Lions offense when we just weren't able to contain the Jets offense, right? And then when the Lions offensively, right, or defensively have been very good this year, they've had a very good shutdown secondary. And the Colts kind of have an offense that turns the ball over quite a bit. The Lions are a team that kind of takes advantage of that. If Anthony Richardson's out there throwing picks, fumbling the ball, if the offense is super inefficient from the Colts, they'll get behind in this game and not really be able to work their way out. Because again, I don't think they have the best passing system that works when behind. Again, maybe the Colts can put some points up, but again, I don't think they have really much of a shot in this one, it feels like. All right, what else we got? Oh boy, this is my upset pick of the weekend. I got the Patriots playing over the Dolphins. Dolphins are 7-point favorites with an over/under of 45.5. Patriots coming off a 28-22 loss to the Rams. Dolphins coming off a 34-19 win against the Raiders. Dolphins offense seems to be back. Their team seems to be playing good. I'm picking the Patriots because they only won the last time we played because we didn't have Drake May and the refs gave them a free touchdown. Well, they took away a touchdown against us. That would have won the game. Stupid rule. Shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have been called that way. Never seen a double toe tap get called not a touchdown for some reason. But hey, whatever. Weird way to call that one. That's the only reason Miami has a win over us this year. And yeah, so in my head, the way I look at things, Patriots should win this one with Drake May. Facts and logic. Liberals hate it. Yeah, it's an upset. The Dolphins probably will win that game, but I'm going to go with my team every game. If you haven't caught on to the theme yet this year, Anyway, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the New York Giants. The Patriots could play the Lions, and I picked the Patriots. I'm hoping you're aware of how things are playing out with my pick'em this year. Every other game, I'm super objective and kind of like, I genuinely got shit for this last week when someone actually left a comment last week going, "You pick the Patriots every week." It's like, yeah, that's kind of the joke. You're getting the joke now. Like, dog, I know my team's 3-8 and gonna lose, but like, I'm also not picking a division opponent to beat my favorite team. It's like, fuck them. Tampa Bay takes on the New York Giants. Bucks are 5.5-point favorites with an over/under of 41.5. Both teams coming off a bye. Giants have benched Daniel Jones, made him a third-string quarterback. They would have cut him, but they can't because it's costly. It's just better for them to wait till after the season and get rid of him for free. You know what I mean? They only got to pay him this year, and then they're done on that contract. It was a 2-year out. That was the only thing that was good about Daniel Jones's contract, is that they had a free out after 2 years. It's just like, all right, we gave him the $80 million. We're done here. And then I'm going with Tampa Bay, by the way. They're a better football team. They'll win this game. I think they're going to be better prepared after a bye. They have a better consistency with the team. They don't have to go to their backup quarterback. They aren't in flux. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bucks. Could be a murder. Speaking of potential murders, the Dallas Cowboys take on the Washington Commanders over in Washington. Commanders are 10-point favorites with an over/under of 44.5. Cowboys lost 34-10 last night to the Texans. Commanders lost 26-18 to the Eagles. I'm guessing this is the game the Commanders break their losing streak. They kind of get back, they get right. They use this game to kind of recalibrate against a team that's been off. Their defense hasn't been great. Even when they got Micah Parsons back, they still haven't looked good. The offense is dog shit. It's just like, I don't really see how Dallas could stay in this game. Again, it's a division game, so Dallas probably puts up a little bit better of a fight because of familiarity. Except they've never really dealt with Daniels much. I don't know. Commanders should win this game. Dallas is probably just tanking the season out at this point. Their season's well shot. They have no reason to win. Whereas Washington's in a playoff race, so playoff race team versus a dead team. There's a lot of games where there's just not reason to provide deep analysis to them this week. It's like shit like this. It's like, oh wow, the Broncos and the Raiders. The only reason it's slightly interesting for some of these games, it's because it's like division matchups. It's like, wow, Raiders Broncos, cool. A playoff team versus a team that's not trying to win games actively. Denver takes on the Raiders. Broncos are 4.5-point favorites with an over/under of 41.5. Broncos blew the Falcons out 38-6, and the Dolphins beat the Raiders 34-19, like we talked about. So with this game, I'm going to go with the Broncos, quite obviously. Raiders defense is bad this year, which is the only thing that was good about this team. Their offense is quite obviously bad. Coaching is bad. They're kind of just a bad football team that's probably going to have to get another new head coach in the offseason. And with the Broncos, they seem to have struck gold with Bo Nix. He looks like a pretty solid quarterback. So looks like I was wrong about him. As far as he's had a pretty solid rookie year. So we'll see how he continues to develop. But he looks pretty good. It's always nice to be wrong, right? It's always like, oh, hell yeah, that guy's actually pretty good. That's pretty cool. Good for the Broncos. I don't care about this game. Oh, finally a good game we can actually talk about. The San Francisco 49ers take on the Green Bay Packers. Packers are 1.5-point favorites with an over/under of 48.5. 49ers are 5-5 with a loss coming to the Seahawks, and the Packers have a 7-3 record after a little bit of luck versus the Bears, plus their curse over the Bears. They won 20-19. If this was a playoff game, I'd pick the 49ers. However, I think the Packers actually win a lot of these regular season games versus the 49ers. It's kind of like the Bills and the Chiefs of the NFC, right? Like where the Bills kind of have this like good win streak versus the Chiefs. They kind of beat the Chiefs in the regular season, but then when it comes to the playoffs, no matter where they play, in their stadium, at home, in KC, whichever way you want to call it, it seems like a neutral field. It seems like the Bills just lose in the playoffs, where it's a similar thing as like Green Bay beats the 49ers in the regular season, but when they have to match up in the playoffs, it seems like LaFleur and his Packers melt to the 49ers and the and Kyle Shanahan. It's something that always seems to happen. I think it happened last year with Jordan Love too. Wasn't the team that eliminated the Packers the 49ers? I can't remember. I think it was. So you know what I mean? And if it wasn't, there's been so many instances everybody's like, oh, it could have been. It seems like it always is the 49ers. However, regular season, I kind of like the Packers. Plus, I haven't really liked the way the 49ers offenses looked all year. It kind of looks shaky and inconsistent. They have a ton of injuries going on right now. And that's always like a big takeaway for a team that's like very timing based, very gadgety, very like, we have a lot of this like super specifically designed offense. So when you start losing guys, losing players, the offense suffers, which it has tremendously this year. And I think with the way the Packers been playing defense, I think they can shut down the 49ers offense this year. Specifically, again, the Packers play very good defense. They have a ton of takeaways. So again, this could be a problem for the 49ers offense. And I think the Packers offensively can do just enough against this 49ers defense to probably eke out a win. I mean, they did it last week versus the Bears. So I kind of like that they can do it here against the 49ers team that hasn't been as good this year, mainly due to injuries. So give me the Pack. Cardinals take on the Seahawks. This should be another pretty solid game. Seahawks are 1.5 point favorites with an over-under of 47.5. Cardinals coming off a bye. Seahawks coming off a 20-17 win versus the 49ers. I like Arizona this game. I don't really have a ton of great reasons. I just like the way Arizona's played offense. I like the way that their defense can do just enough to hold the team off for their offense to go ahead and win a game. I like that Arizona I just like the Cardinals offense. It's been really fun. It's a good offense this year. Kyler Murray's playing great football all season. Again, it's dynamic. It's explosive. It's kind of the offense that they've been building, and it looks like it's working. They're blocking better each week. They're running the ball better each week. It seems like as time goes along, they get better and better and better. And I think with the bye coming in super well rested, super well ready to go, I think they'll be ready to take on the Seahawks, who had just a pretty rough game versus the 49ers, a very physical game. They might be exhausted. I don't know. I just like the Cardinals to take this game. All right, Sunday Night Football, 2 left. What do we got? Eagles take on the Rams in what could be a very good game. Eagles are 3-point favorites with an over-under of blank because I forgot to put it. The Eagles are coming off a win like we talked about, and the Rams are coming off a win as well. I don't know. I feel like the Eagles are due for a loss soon, and I'm not really certain as to why. But I feel like I watched that game versus the Commanders, and it felt like if the Commanders were an older football team, a slightly more experienced football team, they could have taken advantage of the Eagles not playing as well. Again, defensively, the Eagles look really solid. They've played great football all year. However, I think what I've seen out of the Rams against the Patriots, I was like, okay, their offense is very fluid right now, and they'll be able to score almost at will. Their defense is getting better and better. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of just like another upset pick I have this week, where I'm just feeling like the Rams at home Sunday night, it feels like a game that they could win versus an Eagles team that's, while not bad, it just like they're very quiet 8-2. They don't have a bunch of big wins. They're playing very close games against teams that they should kind of beat up on, and like the Commanders, a very young team. I feel like a team with experience can win a game against them. Again, I could be wrong here. I could have a bad vibe on this, but I'm just kind of feeling the Rams win this game. Baltimore Ravens take on the Los Angeles Chargers in the Harbaugh Bowl. Brother versus brother. Ravens are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 50.5. Ravens coming off a win, Chargers coming off a win. So both teams coming off, the Ravens coming off a loss, actually. Sorry about that. Chargers coming off a win. So the Ravens are going to be kind of ready to get kind of like avenge themselves, get a win, get back in the win column. The Chargers are going to be hoping to get a kind of avenge themselves as well after they almost blew up and lost that game. They kind of almost imploded. And that's kind of where I'm sitting at, whereas like if the Chargers do the thing and get ahead in this game and then charger up and then start charging, everybody knows what I mean when I say that, kind of blow games, just not be able to finish games. Then we're going to see the Ravens team that's very good at like coming back in games, staying in games, kind of finding themselves in the second half of games, kind of take a game over and win it. That's kind of how I see this actually, is like the Chargers getting up to like a 17-6 lead, and then the Ravens just sort of storm back in it in the second half. Again, I think the Chargers defense is kind of suspect in some areas. They blew that game, and then the offense went and won it for them. So, and I think the Ravens have a slightly better offense than the Bengals do, so that could be an issue for them. And I also think that the Ravens defensively are far better than what the Bengals can do. And there was just a moment, there was like a big lull in that game where the Ravens or the Chargers did absolutely nothing. And if that happens, the Ravens can get back into a game or take a huge lead into a game. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is the Chargers kind of dying out in the middle of that game might happen again. And I could see the Ravens taking advantage and scoring quite a bit when that happens. So that's kind of the way I'm thinking about that one. That's why I'm going Ravens. All right, I've rambled on quite a bit here, so I think we should start wrapping it up. I appreciate you guys for listening all the way through. If you've made it all the way to the end, please leave a like, subscribe. Make sure you drop your picks down below, your comments down below. I'll get back to those as soon as I can. Thank you for listening. That's week 12 in the tube, down the drain, in the dumps, all finito, final, fine, fin, the end, finito, whatever words are for finished. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day, night, morning, mid-afternoon, mid-evening. I don't know. There's too many times. Either way, have a good rest of whenever you're, just have a good one. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be chilling. I don't know why this one's awkward then. I'm just going to probably end it. Thanks for listening. Week 12 done. Can't believe we're almost already done with football. That sucks. Have a good rest of it whenever. Peace. Go Patriots. Go Lions. I screwed it up. Go Lions, go Tigers, go Patriots. Have a good one. Bye-bye.